Let's pick up the energy. I know it's 9 a.m. Hey, it's Daisha D.
And it's Jay Stan.
And welcome back to episode 8 of In Retrospect podcast, where we look beyond the surface to find understanding.
Bring you laughs, knowledge, and culture.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy the combo. It's just the two of us. I know y'all, we've had a lot of guests that we've been thankful for having throughout the year. Well, throughout this month. I know we just started this year, but this month. One thing we wanted to do was, in honor of our name of our podcast, which is In Retrospect Podcast, we wanted to be reflective. It is a new year. But we didn't want to just do the same old new year, new me, blah, blah, blah. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to ask some thoughtful and some lighthearted questions to be both reflective inwardly and to look back on, 2021 and looking forward to 2022. What is some awkward or like embarrassing moments that you had last year, which is weird to say, but yeah.
Oh, I was at a function a while ago now. I was at a function and I was walking out the front door and some porch steps, and I'm a good sized dude, but this porch was built terribly. It wasn't even a porch, it was just steps. I stepped down, missed a step, and down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. I went down.
Video?
No, ain't no video. Usually people don't see me when I be slipping like that. And I didn't really slip. I fell. I dropped. My frat brother Jalen, he saw me. Shout out to the bros. So Jalen saw me and I dropped. He was just looking like when somebody falls and he was shocked, he was like, did that just happen? Yeah, I felt bad. It was bad. I felt bad. I scraped my leg up a little bit. It's just one of those falls where it's just like, just protect your head. You know what I'm saying? If you don't protect anything, just protect your head. I went down hard.
Right. Yeah. Because I realized my awkward moments, they weren't heavy, but like they were just awkward. So I'll get over the first one, then the rest happened at work. So the first one, so I've been on a health sort of health kick this past year. And so I've been going to the gym consistently. For some reason, my old apartment complex, the treadmills will all of a sudden reset themselves, but they would do it
while you were on them.
Yes. And this is when I would be on the treadmill and like jogging. Because I used to always do the elliptical and I never did the treadmill because I was like, I'm gonna look dumb trying to jog. But this is when I was like, okay, I'm gonna start jogging, whatever. I'm jogging, I'm getting it, and all of a sudden this thing stops. Right. That was embarrassing. And other people were in the gym, of course, because I've never fallen by myself. I always fall with people around. That's the theme for me. I never trip up and it's just me. I'm just
fall forward or backwards?
I didn't fall, like I caught myself, but like it was an awkward jerk movement because I'm like, oh, and I had to catch the side of it and it really stopped. I couldn't believe it. The screen went black, everything. And it reset itself. So yeah.
You better than me. I would have fell. I would have. Hey, call them folks. Come get me. Get me. I fell while I was in this building. Get me.
They have cameras in there too. Listen.
Oh yeah. I would put a whole show on for that camera. What?
Don't be one of those people.
What? They obviously put you in danger. What do you mean?
Listen, the other awkward moments that happened were all professional. In a professional setting with kids. There was one kid. This is when I was still in Tennessee. There was one kid who was dressed like he was straight out of a Western, which is fine. But I'm just setting up the picture for you. He came with his hat on, his cowboy boots, his jeans, and he would put on this Southern accent where he sounded like Matthew McConaughey.
All right now.
Right. And he would refer to children, and this kid was like 7th grade, he would refer to children as blacks, to us as blacks. And the first time he said it, I didn't realize that's what he said. And then he said it again. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? He said, yeah, because the blacks. I said, okay. Let's go ahead and pause this.
Yeah. Hey, let's step outside real quick.
Yeah, I was like, let's pause it. So
Let's outside real quick. Let me tell you something real quick. Let me rap you real quick. Let's talk outside.
We no longer say blacks or colored, because he would say that too. Colored, that's what it was. He would say colored. The color, I was like, we don't say colored. It's you could say black, you could say African American, but not colored. It's outdated, it's inappropriate. So that's the first one. The second one happened in Atlanta, actually, at my first job. So there's an activity that I do with kids where we do Pictionary, and we guess favorites of the other person by drawing. It's just a way to open them up, get it flowing, because it's therapy. Kids don't typically like therapy. So one of the guesses that you have to make is, what is this person's favorite food? Now, the kid is not black. I'm gonna just say that the kid is not black, and the mom is sitting next to the kid, and the mom whispers to the kid, as the kid is trying to draw my favorite food, and whispers, draw fried chicken. What? I was like, did she just say that? And she said it again, because the kid was like, huh? I didn't
you know
hear
kids, you know how kids go.
Listen,
you said
catch
draw
cute.
fried chicken, Mom?
And she was like, draw fried chicken. I was like, now, they were Latino. Now I'd have been wrong, and I'm not gonna finish my sentence.
Stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. I know what you're about to say.
Listen.
Don't do that.
So yeah, so those were three that stand out in my head. That were very awkward moments for me. I have others from work, but they're all like racially driven.
Oh, well, everybody has some.
Okay.
All right, so my first question is, what are 2 words that you would use to describe your last year, 2021? And what's 1 word you would use to live by for the year 2022?
Okay, so 2 words from 2021. My first word is going to be community. Yes.
A lot of letters, girl. I ain't gonna lie.
I think that it's weird to say last year, but yesterday,
Yeah.
I really learned that it is important to have a strong community and sense of community. I had a lot of transitions within 2021 alone. I moved 2 different states. I started 2 different jobs. And it was a lot all over the place. So with all of those transitions, for me, that can be very anxiety provoking. And you can start to feel unsure if you made the right decisions. And so I think once I moved to Atlanta, I definitely needed the friends, the family, other people to call on to kind of keep me sane.
Yes.
The agency.
Agency?
Agency.
Yes, please elaborate on.
It can mean so many different things, but for me personally, I had to really learn how to speak up, not learn, but do. So I know how to speak up for myself, but I had to put it in action. So speaking up, meaning boundaries, or telling people how I truly feel, expressing myself, and not just in my personal relationships, but at work. So if something made me uncomfortable at work, or it's just not going to be conducive to my job, hey, supervisor.
Hey, supervisor.
This is not working for me.
At
all. So yes,
put that foot down.
Huh?
Put your foot down.
With respect and grace. With respect and grace. Yeah.
I mean, hey, you know what they say. Samuel Jackson lived to be, this ripe age by telling folks how he feel. He telling folks how he feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that don't work for everybody now. Don't be adopting Samuel Jackson's methods of my 2 for last year is going to be these. The first one would be growth. I definitely grew more as a person. And I would also say that I expanded my mind the way I think. Definitely realizing and coming to the realization that just because you think something's happening to somebody else doesn't mean it can't happen to you. You hear about a bunch of different stories. You're like, oh, no, that can't be me. And then it happens. And you're like, oh, I got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Type stuff. I mean, and then when I say that, it could be from a plethora of things. It'd be like, oh, might be tight on the rent, but you used to having money all the time. Now you tight on rent. It can be as something as extreme as, somebody losing their job. Yes, that's a possibility. You lose your job. You have to move back in with your parents because you can't afford to live in an apartment. I mean, these real world, real life things that truly happen.
I feel like you're telling my 2021 life.
I mean, hey, let me tell you, boy, everybody in the same boat. It's crazy for this generation. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I would definitely say transition to piggyback off of growth. Transition from the aspect for me personally. Like I started doing different things besides just working a job. Like I wrote tongue tied. Yes, it does happen. I wrote books. Yeah, I'm bringing it back. It's like a rewind. You feel me? Reflection and then moving forward. It's like you hit the back button and then I had to come back forward. Anyway, yeah. So I wrote some children's books this year, a total of 4, of course. I plan to do 4 this year as well. And I began, I started the podcast along with Daisha this year, which is definitely stepping out of stuff that I'd usually do. But it's just one of those things, like, the older you get, you don't want to be in a situation where it's just like, dang, well, that was a great idea. We should have done it and we didn't do anything. Or so when somebody comes to you with an idea, if it kind of piques your interest in any type of way, form, or fashion, you should definitely look into it and actually attempt to go do it. Whether that be in any, anything, you should definitely not just sit there and be, oh, well, that's not me. My situation is good right now. I'm living, I'm straight. I'm going to be all right. Next thing you know, life come at you fast. Now you're sitting here like, dang, I wish I would have did, what that person was telling me about. But now I'm not doing anything and kind of stuck in a rut. And you stuck. Yeah. So what's your word to live by, Daisha? Tell me what your word to live by. You need to know.
Yeah, I've been really trying to think about that because I'm going back and forth between 2. But I'm gonna go with receive. Receive.
Yes. Do tell.
Just that. I think that I tend to pour a lot into others. Like, of course, in my career, I'm a social worker and a therapist. So yeah, I pour into kids and families in that way. But in my personal life, I think I tend to overly extend myself to other people. I think I tend to be overly accessible to other people. And it's not their fault that I've lacked that boundary. You know what I mean? Like, that's on me. So going into 2022,